host, Butch and Coffee. Woo!
Welcome to Cellar County, folks. This is what happens when I let Butch do the intro. This exact thing. Anyway, divisional games.
I'm not hijacking anything. I'm just trying to have some fun. All right? Come on, be like your boy Mitch Kissing Titties.
Oh my god, we just talked about this. Okay, either way, divisional round is done, and I have great concern for the future of Super Bowl.
Great concern for the Super Bowl and one particular team we will talk about later, but we have to get to the contestants first. First and foremost, the Green Bay Packers are moving on with their love boy, Aaron Rodgers.
Yes. Green Bay handed the Rams their ass on a silver platter. So,
which should have happened a week ago against Seattle, but no one.
Yeah. Well, see, I would say this: Green Bay has always been the best team in the NFC. Seattle's basically, save for the Bears, every team in the postseason was seeded properly, save for the Bears.
Yeah, you're really gonna go there with that. The Packers played a good game, considering they had a week to rest, being the number one overall seed. This was more of a kind of snoozer when you really think about it. LA did not have a legit chance of winning this game. Green Bay was going to run away with this one, hands down. Aaron Rodgers has proven this season he is wiped off the cobwebs, and he is slinging the football like he was in his peak form 10 years ago.
He's trying to get that last ring.
Let me ask you this. Rodgers gets the spring this year. Is he gone? Is he leaving the Packers?
Not immediately.
So he's not going to pull Peyton Manning and ride off into the sunset?
No. Well, Peyton Manning, you could see Peyton Manning's coming a long time. Just like with Ray Lewis. You saw his coming a mile away. This is closer to, and I'm going to use this example to the people who follow 4-1. This is Nico Rosberg-like.
For me, it's Rodgers still has stuff to prove. He still has grievances on the field he needs to deal with. He's not done by no means.
No.
A Super Bowl win would be sweet, and considering how old he is, he might consider hanging it up. But another Super Bowl win in Green Bay, and then you got Title Town fever. Hey, let's go get another one for Lombardi.
Oh, which they could possibly do.
They definitely could, and especially in I hate to say it, a weak division like the NFC North, where there's really no competition at all to speak of.
Nope.
Rams, on the other hand, congratulations. You've wasted yet another year with Jared Goff, and it feels like it has been years and years since you guys have been Super Bowl relevant.
Well, they're still a decent team. Let's not say that they're garbage. They're a decent team.
I would not put them above the Seahawks.
No. They're a team that's essentially if we make the playoffs, great. We may not be expected to go anywhere. That's why we treat every win as a gift.
Sean McVay, he's not getting his papers anytime soon, but this is pretty startling. It has been an interesting turn of events for the Rams. And 2 years ago, I had them below the 49ers with Jimmy G. How things have turned in this division. Rams, I expect you somewhat playoff relevant, but you're not going to be at your peak form. As for the Packers, they move on next week to face the Buffalo Bills, who have been probably one of the luckiest teams in all of sports right now.
Don't say anything, folks. Let them think about it for a minute.
I want to say one thing before we talk about this game. Bills fans are possibly...
Let them think about what you just said for a moment. Let it sink in.
Oh God.
Think about it. What division are the Bills in?
AFC.
Yes. I was trying to see how I wasn't gonna correct you immediately. I want to see how long you were gonna hang on to that. But you all right.
I butched that up.
All right. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Speaking of the Bills, Ravens. This was not what I expected. But
compared to the other Saturday game, I was expecting this to be more of a showdown. And
that was my complaint. I expected to be like 40-something to 50-something to 40-something. To get 17-3, that is just.
Lamar didn't even have they didn't even score a touchdown for Ravens. Lamar didn't even have.
And he got a concussion that game too.
Yeah. And what I wanted to say was Bills fans are probably some of the most awesome fact in all of sports. You guys
deserve to be in this conference championship. With all the shit you guys went through, all the trash talking from not only fans but to a degree from us as well. You guys deserve to be in this conference championship after the way you handled the Ravens.
Definitely how I handled the Ravens. Definitely how I handled the adversity of coming above the Patriot shadow that has overhung you for almost 20 years. And just overall, way to get back to relevance. We're talking about a team that's been relevant since the late 90s.
Let's just say one thing. I just got to say one thing. Taron Johnson, I believe I'm saying your name right. You are the fucking man. 101 yards off of that interception in the opponent's end zone, I might add. And just, you went off, you got a touchdown. Congratulations. Buy that guy a steak dinner or something. Or please, whatever you do it in the next game.
It was a beast.
That was amazing to watch.
Single-handedly put them in the driver's seat for the rest of the game, folks. Lamar Jackson, oh boy, your magic ran out too soon, just like last season. But you get to walk away from this postseason with at least one feather on your cap. You had a good playoff win, and you can now ride into the sunset with hope for next year. You got the better of the Harbaughs still as a head coach. And I will give the Ravens this. They are always field a competitive team with a quarterback like Lamar Jackson. We will see what happens next year. As for the Bills, 1993 is calling. Get over the hump. Get to the Super Bowl. And get a fucking Super Bowl win. 0-4 literally hangs over your franchise like a dirty, stinking fish out of Lake Erie. You need to wipe away this irrelevance. This season will not be a success unless you guys win a Super Bowl.
Bills Mafia. Which is going to be very hard to do if Mahomes plays the next game. We'll get to that situation in a moment.
I want to see Bills Mafia down in Tampa. I want them jumping through record amounts of tables. I want blue and
please
red.
Someone explain to me. So anyone out there, any one of the few people that listen to this, please explain to me what the deal is with Bills fans jumping through tables.
It's Bills Mafia, man. You can't explain it. It's a phenomenon.
This is like the most, excuse my French, this is like some of the dumbest hardcore garbage wrestling fans just throwing themselves through tables for a second. I'm gonna throw myself through a table. Okay, you know what?
It's the passion. It's what sports does to people.
Sports makes people go through tables.
Cheese on people Wisconsin's heads, for God's sakes. It's what keeps me from rooting for a shitty football team for 60 years. Sports does weird things to people, and jumping through tables at Buffalo is one of them.
Look, I don't care if sports is weird. I understand sports does weird things to people. I just want the table thing explained. Buffalo. I want the table thing explained.
Bills Mafia.
I'm not dissing the Bills Mafia. Okay, I apologize if I offended any Bills fans out there. I just want to know what the deal is with the table. I just want to know what the deal with the table.
When you get liquored up, you feel strong enough to jump
you know what?
Screw it.
I'm looking this up. I'm looking up the table thing.
He does.
Anything else you gotta say this game, Butch?
Not really, to be honest. Both of them just kind of meh for the par, you know. While he's doing that, folks, we will now focus on the Sunday matchups, and these were definitely the more favorable matchups. The first game to talk about, and the one that a lot of people had on their minds, Chiefs versus the Browns. Holy crap, was this a close game?
Okay, I found it. Okay, I found a potential explanation for the table thing.
And folks, breaking news. Coffee has an explanation on why Bills fans jump through tables. We now jump the Coffee.
Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just looking this up, and it looks like it started with one guy a few years back. I want to say this was like 2016, 2015. He was drunk, and he fell through a table. So it went viral, and then Bills fans just ran with it. That's the best explanation I could find in like 5 minutes.
He was drunk and fell through a table, folks. You heard it live from Coffee.
Don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. At least now I have a possible reason why they do it. And you know what?
A source.
Hey, you know what? Maybe that's what you should. Maybe that's what we should do. Instead of drinking Everclear for every Jets victory, we should just stack tables and jump through them.
If the Bills win a Super Bowl, I will jump through a table.
I've been through a table before. I will give you the science behind going through a table.
It sounds like it hurts, but I will do it if this Bills team wins the Super Bowl. Mark my words.
All right, so anyway, Chiefs Browns. This game was a scary game. But let me say one thing. With Mahomes, I'm referring to a particular play. It's probably gonna be it's either gonna be the thumbnail or the Drew Brees Tom Brady handshake is gonna be the thumbnail. But here's what happened at one point during the third quarter. So Mahomes is scrambling. He takes a hit. Now he takes a hit. If you watch his hit, it looks like okay, just a regular hit. It looks like, but you see, he gets wrapped up in. Who tackled him? I don't even remember who tackled him for that concussion. But the point is, he tackled, he went down. I see him slow to get up. I'm thinking, okay, he must have hit something. Then he got jelly legs. And I thought, did he get concussed? And then the camera showed on his face, and he had the blankest stare imaginable on, and that's when we all knew, yep, this boy concussed. And we all shat bricks for a few minutes.
It does not say who specifically tackled him. I'd have to go back.
Yeah, I would have to watch the replay of who hit him. But one thing I gotta say about the hit is that when you think of a player getting a concussion, you're thinking of a hit that basically knocks the guy out of his socks or he lands on his head. If you look at this hit, none of that really happens.
Talk to a guy who has suffered multiple concussions, undiagnosed. You'd be talking to Butch here. Most concussions you associate with a train-wrecking hit.
Yeah, the big hit.
And they can come on the simplest plays. All it is just an awkward hit to the head snaps back, and you got yourself a concussion, folks.
And potential whiplash.
Thank goodness for concussion protocols.
Thank God the NFL finally got their shit together and are taking this protocol seriously.
I would say got their shit together. They were scared straight.
But they're now taking it a lot more serious than they did back then.
But for the Chiefs, with 7:27 left in the third quarter, this was do or die. Your whole season is now up in the air and is now riding on the back of Chad Henne.
Who for the most part, he almost basically won the game towards the end. He almost won the game himself. Like
he single-handedly won the game. What are you talking about?
No. Go ahead. I'm talking about the last play where it was like, I think it was like 3rd and 15. And he ran 14 and a half yards to try to get the first down. He came up just short.
4th and 1, you set it up. They line up. in most situations, every coach in the NFL outside of Andy Reid, they're there to try to get the Bills to jump off sides. And in shotgun formation, you are not going to snap the ball. The Bills are sure they're not going to snap the ball. You can see the Browns defenders, saying, do not jump, do not jump. The ball is hyped with the clock running inside Chiefs territory.
Okay.
Every fan in existence is screaming, what? Throw a pass to Tyreek Hill. Excuse me, no. Not Tyreek Hill. Oh my God, Wait, was it Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, it was Hill. It was Tyreek Hill.
And Tyreek Hill miraculously gets a first down and secures the win. And Chad Henne is the hero of KC. He will be feasting in KC barbecue. He will go down in KC lore as the pitch. That is the gutsiest call to have in the playoffs. To go for on 4th and 1 with a backup QB in your territory, when you turn the ball over, you're giving the Browns about 40 yards to go downfield with 40 seconds left. Up by 5. So if they score a touchdown, you're all but screwed. Chad Henne came through in an unlikely way, and you got to give praise to Andy Reid for going for it. Even Chad Henne's run, he didn't get the first down.
No, but he came so close, and it was almost like Baker Mayfield back in Week 17 with the against the Steelers. It was almost that exact same thing where he had to win the game by himself by just running for it, by just going for it. And he came out short. He came out short, but God damn it, you pulled through. You showed a lot of guts doing that.
You gotta love the fact that those players put their heart and soul in those moments. That's what the playoffs are for. That's what the playoffs are built around.
This is why the NFL playoffs are sometimes the greatest sporting tournament.
I agree with that statement right there. It is
because you get crazy stuff like this.
Crazy shit happens. It's almost hard to predict, and the teams that you think are going to win don't show up at all in some cases. KC moves on. Patty Mahomes, we will see what happens.
We are praying for you to be well, because
he was participating as of today, but that would be a tough hill to overcome if Patty can't start against the Bills. There I go. I got it right finally.
Well, he can. Well, my hope is that he can play. He just probably won't start. You'll start Chad, see how he does, and if you need him, you can bring Mahomes in.
If you're the Browns, now we have to focus the light now on the loser. Is this a lost season, or is this something you have been striving for since the return of Cleveland football in 1999?
This is the best you could come up with, given the fact that you're in the same conference as the Chiefs and the Ravens. This was perhaps the best case scenario for you to make it this far.
You got a playoff win.
You kicked the shit out of the Steelers. You kicked the shit out of them.
You embarrassed them beyond oblivion, and you
not once, but twice. 2 weeks in a row, you humiliate them.
Outside of one play that, let's be honest, it was a miracle the Chiefs got the turn. You played A+ caliber football. There is nothing to hang your head.
I gotta say something about that rule. Though, because that entire rule seems.
You're talking about the touch. You're talking about the touchback.
Yeah, that entire rule just seems.
I am surprised targeting was. Yeah, the refs missed targeting. That's the first thing you gotta. But even before,
I will admit
this play should not be remembered as a touchback. It should be remembered as the missed targets. Because holy shit, that was every level, met every criteria for a penalty of targeting, and it was not called.
Would you
Now,
consider
I
him?
have to-
Here's the one thing I would here's one thing that I would argue, because I had this argument with someone after a game. Would you have considered him defenseless when he made that dive?
Yes.
At the time the guy was going for the tackle, was the guy defenseless?
Yes. You are in midair. You have no control at that point. Your momentum is carrying you. Your body's in motion.
Yes.
You cannot change it while in the air. At that point, I would say the player with the ball becomes defenseless.
But can the guy who's trying to make the tackle stop himself by the time the Browns player was defenseless? And I looked at this and I could see why they didn't call it, because you can make the argument that by the time the Browns player was considered defenseless, there's no way for the guy to pull up. You could make a call for the helmet-to-helmet contact. There is a penalty for that. But the way I look at it, I would call targeting in that case too, but
regardless, if you're not going to call targeting, at least
there is some penalty in there, but I don't think it's targeting.
I would call unsportsmanlike conduct. Honestly, unsportsmanlike conduct. I know that might be a little brazen to say, but there should have been a flag thrown. Now, I need some clarification. Are you arguing about the touchback call, or what are you referring to exactly? Outside, we're done with the targeting stuff.
Okay, no, outside the target, I'm talking about the touchdown. Basically, ball pops out. It's in the end zone, and it goes out the end zone. It doesn't go out the back. It goes out the side.
It still counts as a touchback. It still counts. If it goes out at any point of the end zone, that's considered a touchback. It shouldn't matter if it goes out the back of the end zone or the side. If you're the offense, you fumble the ball before you get into the end zone and it goes out, it should be a touchback. There's really nothing to argue here. Are you trying to suggest the Browns should have gotten points? The Browns should have had the ball.
Okay, in any other case, the fumbling team would retain possession of that.
But where?
Anywhere between the goal lines. It's the fumbling team that retains possession.
You're almost rewarding them for fumbling away an opportunity. It should be a punishment. Out of the back of the end zone or off to the side, it's a touchback. Regardless of what happens, it should be a touchback. You can't be serious with an argument like this. So you're saying the ball
I'm just saying that it's a bullshit rule, and I don't care if it's that's the official rule. It's still a bullshit rule to me.
If you're going to propose a change,
that's the second problem. There's really no fair way to change it without, like I said, magically giving the team another chance that close.
I'm not going to say it's a gray area because it's pretty well defined. Yeah, there's some controversy about if the ball's in the end zone and then it gets batted out. We're talking about Calvin Johnson against Seattle a couple years ago. The ball was inadvertently batted out and the play wasn't called. At that case, I could see something like that. But if the receiver or the player fumbles the ball and the momentum of the ball carries it out of the end zone, then yeah, that's a touchback. If a defensive player hits the ball or kicks it out to ensure that the team doesn't score a touchdown, then yeah, you might be able to make something out of that. You might be able to argue, hey, we should get the ball back and place at a certain spot. We have focused a lot on this game, and if I'm being honest, between the two games that are playing on Sunday, this was the more exciting matchup. The matchup everyone tuned into, the primetime game between the New Orleans Saints and the Tom Brady Buccaneers. Oh my God, this game was a bit lackluster in what is probably Drew Brees' final game in NOLA, a game in which New Orleans should have won, were forecasted to win, and now your team is about to suffer a fate unlike any team has seen in a very long while. Also, if you're a New England fan, you are foaming at the mouth right now. This game is heartbreaking. Although for every other NFL fan, we're honestly kind of laughing at New England right now. Can I get an amen there, Coffee?
I would say everybody in New England who's watching the Bucs, they are ripping up every piece of me.
Tom Brady memorabilia, every jersey,
So,
every
I'm
fake.
sorry if I sound out of it. I'm still focused on that fucking touchback rule. I'm still on that. I'm still mentally like on that. So anyway, let's move on.
Look, I understand your frustration, man, but you gotta let it go. You sound like a Saints fan right now.
Coming from a guy who's been bitching about the Lions for years. Okay, I'll move on.
I'm gonna be right back, folks.
I just made him mad. Okay, so
Where do we even start with this game?
let's start with the fact that Drew Brees, from a statistical standpoint, this was a shit game for him.
This was not playoff form.
Three interceptions.
100 and how many yards?
134. 134 yards. Tom Brady wasn't that much better either. 199. That's, I would say.
Kamara didn't even have 100 yards. Total yards in this game combined. Oh my god, 316 to 294. That sounds more like a QB stat line than an overall team performance. On both ends, everyone was expecting the Saints to go out on a shootout, and instead they went down in a whimper. This is all but gone. This has had to have been his final game. And this is coming on the day when we found out that Phillip Rivers is no more.
He's done. 17 seasons. He's hanging it up.
He is
Needless to say, the Colts need to find another quarterback, but that's another story for another day.
Man, they're so fucked. Especially after a coach was so confident Rivers was coming back.
Yeah.
Man, we're about to lose another great thousands quarterback. Eli, hit or miss. He did have those 2 Super Bowl wins. You got Breeze, who brought a championship to the city of NOLA after Hurricane Katrina. And then you got the story of Phillip Rivers, who can't stop having kids. He's got 7 kids, man. Holy shit.
He got kids.
He doesn't have a Super Bowl to show for it. In fact, he never made it to a Super Bowl. 17 seasons, though. 16 with the Chargers and 1 with the Colts. And I had a feeling Rivers was really going to put up this year. Instead, he didn't do much in the playoffs. Breeze, on the other hand, man, this is just tough. You wish he won more. With the stats he put up, you should have had at least 3 rings.
He is this year like Ben Roethlisberger. You're old. You can't hold on much longer. You don't know how much time you got left. You just want to go get that last one and call it a day. You want to pull Peyton Manning, win Super Bowl, and then retire.
He is Dan Marino, but with the ring.
Now, here's a question for you for both Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers. Are they Hall of Famers?
Yes.
Both of them.
Phillip Rivers' case might be a little hard to contend with, but I would say both of them.
I would give Phil Rivers a vote. Yeah. Drew Brees, he's guaranteed. Phillip Rivers, I'd throw my vote for him. He may not get in, but I would throw a vote for him. Now on to the other definite Hall of Famer. Tom Brady is now going against Aaron Rodgers. So it's come to my attention that it is guaranteed at Super Bowl it'll be a young gun versus an old guard.
Tyler Allen versus Brady or Rodgers.
Which one sounds like an interesting? which matchup do you want to happen? Which matchup do you think should happen? Or which matchup do you think is gonna happen?
What I want to happen, Allen versus Rodgers. The snowball. What I anticipate to
Except it's
happen,
not gonna be the snowball, but still.
I anticipate to happen, Mahomes versus Brady. What will happen? I think it's going to be Mahomes and Rodgers.
I actually I want Mahomes versus Rodgers. It should be Mahomes versus Rod. It's definitely gonna be Mahomes and Rodgers. But one thing I would love to see happen is I would love to see Allen versus Rodgers.
I want to see Allen primarily because the Chiefs broke a 50-year playoff drought, that broke a 50-year championship drought. The Bills
With
have
Andy
never
Reid as the
won
head coach,
anything.
that's a huge thing.
I am
That was a huge thing for you, is that Andy Reid's the one that did it.
He broke his legacy of failure. He finally got that win after years and years of heartbreak and painful playoff defeats and coming up so short and blowing games. The Bills are probably one of the longest suffering football franchises across America, maybe outside the Browns and Detroit. You go to 4 straight Super Bowls and you don't win a single one. A young gun quarterback, and you have a coach in Sean McDermott that, let's be honest, folks, this Bills team is here to stay, but you really hope they make noise this first time around and don't fall short in the AFC Championship game to the Chiefs. As much as I want to see Mahomes win again, I hate to see a back-to-back Super Bowl winner.
I actually would love that.
I really hate to see it.
I would say this. Anyone who wins Super Bowl at this point, you can definitely say deserves it.
Outside of Tampa Bay. Outside of Tampa Bay, because it's in their home stadium, and
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It would make it even cooler if they win to win Super Bowl at your home stadium.
It'd be interesting to even see them host it. Because I'm sure in Florida, they're going to open up that whole stadium. Screw COVID. This is the world's ultimate Bucs game.
The world's biggest super spreader event. And if the Bucs lose, everyone. COVID. But let's just put this out there. All right. So, quick predictions right now: Chiefs or Bills? Let's do 2 different predictions. With a healthy Mahomes and without a healthy Mahomes.
With a healthy Mahomes, Chiefs. Without Mahomes, Bills. But realistically speaking, it's gonna be the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's from my end. It's gonna be Chiefs both sides.
I want to see the Bills make it, but man, the Chiefs just have so much with their defense, and they have so much to rely on with their run game. And it just seems too much for the Bills to overcome.
All right, so now I'll go back to the NFC. We have Bucs or Packers.
I'm gonna be salty here. I'm gonna take Brady Bay. Brady Bay to the Super Bowl.
Sorry, all my fans that bleed blue and orange, but I gotta go with Green Bay on this one.
You really think pissed off Aaron Rodgers is finally going to take the Cheeseheads back to the promised land after all this time?
He's at least going to get through Brady. I would say that. That's going to be the game I'm definitely going to watch. I think I work that day. No, I don't work that day.
I'm supposed to be flying that Saturday, so we're going to see what happens.
Okay.
Oh wait, no. Wait a second. No. They're both on Sunday. Thank God.
Yeah, that's what I say. I would say I don't work Sunday.
See, why don't you make one game on Saturday and one game on Sunday? Why do you gotta put them back to back? That's weird.
I guess add to the drama. Because the NFL is always owned Sunday, so everything's gotta be on Sunday when they can fit it in.
Now, we have to talk. We talked about Tampa moving on. We must discuss the Saints. The numbers I was hearing, they're about to take about $100 million cap hit if Breeze leaves. This team is going to have to shed everything And my question to you is this Saints team, is there a legacy for not winning another Super Bowl with Breeze? Is that going to overhang them? Is that going to be like a vomiting-inducing stench that's going to hang over Bourbon streets? Like where do you see this? Where do you see the Saints team in 5 years without Breeze? Do you see them
struggling to
bottom
get
of the NFC South?
I would say struggling to get back to the top. They could make maybe a playoffs 1 year, but I don't. If they have to break down everything because this cap hit when Breeze
Everyone's
leaves.
got to. Sean, it's about to be a clear house sale. Sean Payton's not going to survive. Breeze leaves. I don't see Sean Payton here.
Yeah, but to go back to your question, I think there will be a stench hanging over them, but not directly because they couldn't win. Because in some cases just bad luck had prevented them from getting to Super Bowl and winning another one.
1 year, I will say that they got ultimately screwed over, and that was against the Rams. 2019, yeah, there was another controversial call, but you blew in overtime. That was a game you should have won against the Vikings. Wait, no. 2019 was that the Rams? They played them back-to-back conference championship games.
No, hold on, folks. We're drunk. We can't remember shit.
Double check, because I know 2017 was the Minneapolis Miracle. That game in itself.
That's the one where bad luck. That was just bad luck because it was a good play. He just missed it, and that left him wide open to go all the way for 6 and win the game.
So the sum up the Saints playoff losses: bad luck 2017, 2018 rep ball, 2019 pettiness, 2020. Just not showing up.
Yeah, not showing up when you count it. All right.
I had them win this game, folks, and that was heartbreaking. Folks, that will do it for the NFL. We must now dive into other topics outside of football. I would like to take this to the NBA, if that's all right with you.
Yes, because over the past week, we've had a huge moment with James Harden leaving the Rockets to go to Brooklyn with Durant and Irving.
Brooklyn, baby!
All I gotta say is that if Brooklyn weren't in your top 3 to make the NBA Finals, they're probably the number 1 team now.
Oh, Jesus. Man, you're really sounding confident for that.
I'm sounding confident because this is... Let's be real with one thing. This is the first time since
the Nets traded away 3 unprotected first-round picks for James Harden's rights.
But let's forget this. Let's remember for a second, Butch. This is the NBA. Talent, the free agency market is dependent solely on where the top players are or where your friends are. That's the thing with the NBA. We see it happen with LeBron constantly. We've seen it happen to a degree with LeBron. Yeah, LeBron's like the top one I can think of.
No, it's okay. But here's what I'm going with. Harden's 31, all right? I really feel like to a certain extent he's already peaked, and he's now on the downward swing. So why make this deal now for a player that's on the downward swing?
Because there's always second chances in the NBA. Look at LeBron. Look at Dwight Howard. Look at Rajon Rondo. Look at Derrick Rose. Look at Jimmy Butler.
I see this move as wiping your hands clean and moving away, moving forward in the future. And yes, their picks may come out pretty good, depending on how the Nets do. The Nets move, to me, is an all-in. Chips on the table, not looking at cards, going all in, and hoping in a pandemic-persuaded year, they are going to at least have more success than they did last year. At least more success than Brooklyn's had in maybe the last 4 or 5 years. This is interesting, to say the least. You really, really, really hope from a storybook standpoint that the Nets can win. But with Harden, I just don't know. I don't know if Harden's going to be the final piece. But this was a huge trade. This was middle of the day, late breaking news, and my jaw dropped. Because I knew how badly Harden wanted
he wanted to get the fuck out of Houston. I thought, okay, he's definitely gonna be traded, but then the question was to who? And you and me off podcast, we started having a small debate of where he was going. I threw in that possibly the Clippers would have been a suggestion, but that's a big if. But I said it's possible. I said the Spurs was a possibility. I basically kept it on the Western Conference.
Primarily Western, but I didn't see his deal getting done until later. I felt like Harden would either rode out the season and then left. Well, I didn't expect first 10 games of the season and he's up and gone. His legacy in Houston is
his legacy is equivalent to what's a good comparison?
It was kind of like to me it was a flash in the pan. It was the bang was there, but there was no sizzle.
I would say the sizzle maybe 2 years the sizzle was there, but it's exactly like what the Bulls when we had Rose and Butler. We could have possibly had at least one finals appearance, but we always ran up against LeBron and lost, except for that one year we were the one seed eliminated by AC. But this is similar to what
Harden's tenure be defined by one stat: 0 for 27. Will that be the defining moment of his Houston tenure, or what do you think? What is his defining moment in Houston? And where does he go from here?
I think his defining moment in Houston would...
Or maybe not defending Daryl Morey.
I was going to say maybe continuing the tradition. Houston, basically in the 2000s, Houston had pieces that could have got them a finals, but they never got that far. And that's why I think James Harden's legacy is you continue that tradition.
By trying to go out and get talent and trying to feed players around you that just didn't quite match.
And just completely bringing the 3-point line a few feet back.
A couple more teams were involved in this trade. The Pacers were one, and the Cavaliers. And we have some news out of Cleveland. Not pertaining to this trade, however.
It was not. Oh man, talking about this just makes me realize that one, they're human. Two, they're
athletes are petty as fuck,
and that they're petty as fuck. Yes. Oh man. So Kevin Porter Jr. threw a tantrum, and we're talking not like a classic tantrum. We're talking throwing food tantrum over his locker being moved.
Reassigned.
Being moved.
It was honestly the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
To a degree, I can understand his frustration. I understand he also had personal problems too. But you take that up to the owner and to the club. You don't whine and throw food. You don't throw food. You don't do that.
And you don't do that in front of your GM.
You take it up privately. You don't lash out in public like that.
You don't be stupid. You don't do something stupid like that. I've never so dumb.
It's like, okay, while Butch played football in high school, I played basketball. I can say this. If my locker was moved for someone else, I would have just went, okay. I would have just kept doing business as normal and then had a discussion with my coach and the guy who replaced my locker. I would have had a private discussion with them. I would not have done what he did. And all I can say now is that congratulations, you now look like the biggest baby in the NBA.
You are the biggest baby in the NBA. You threw food over your locker game move. You had been there all season. You finally showed up, and the first day you showed up, you threw a bitch fit in front of your team
It was,
and in front of your
and
GM.
that's the exact word, a bitch fit.
You had the head coach come out and literally say, "This is utterly fucking disappointing." You are not on a good team. You are on a shitty NBA team.
Not, I admit, you're 20. You're still a kid. But come on, man. You're in the NBA. There is a level of professionalism that is expected from you the second you enter this league. This is not that.
I just can't believe we're even talking about. I can't believe this even happened.
This to me is exact. Like you hear stories of players behaving badly, and you're thinking, okay, they're behaving badly.
When I think of an Outland Locker outburst, when I think of that, I think of Gilbert Arenas bringing a loaded gun.
Speaking of gun, this guy came back from a weapons charge. He had a gun. He had a gun in his car.
After a accident in which he was clearly disoriented. Folks, this is just an open and shut case.
Like, I have no idea what's going. Like, I still want to say partially that you have some issues that you still need to work on, and the locker thing didn't help. I get that, but if you still had issues, you should have just stayed away. Like just take.
The funny thing is, this all had to partially do with the trade because the person who got his own locker was Tarion Prince.
That is the cherry on top of this shit sundae right here.
It's just so dumb, folks.
This is beyond.
You really hope this kid turns it around, but when you really think about it, this could be a career, and this is a career-ending move. It just shows.
This is permanent demotion to G League at best.
Oh, absolutely. If any team takes him,
what's the Cleveland equivalent? What's the Cleveland G League team that they're sponsoring?
I don't even know.
Canton Charge. Yes, the Canton Charge.
What?
Canton Charge.
Are all the team names that dumb?
In the G League? Okay. Let me pull up G League names and see how dumb they are. Okay.
It really sounds dumb.
All right.
I think Grand Rapids is the Grand Rapids Drive. Or I think it's not the Detroit Drive.
Current G League teams. The Agua Caliente Clippers. Stupid name. Austin Spurs. Okay, that's a decent name. That's decent. Canton Charge. Delaware Bluecoats. That sounds like a college team.
It does sound like a college team.
The Erie Bayhawks. That sounds like a high school team. The Fort Wayne Mad Ants. That's a dumb name. Greensboro Swarm. That actually sounds like that's a dumb name. Iowa Wolves. Okay, you know what? I'll take that. Iowa Wolves. Greensboro Swarm sounds like that. Sounds like a non-NBA mid semi-pro basketball team name.
Okay, wait. I found the dumbest one.
Which one?
How about the Raptors 905?
That sounds like a. Okay, how is it compared to this? You know how in football and soccer overseas in Europe, how it's not always like they don't always say it's just usually it's Manchester. Like if you look at Wolverhampton, it's just Wolverhampton. It's not anything else. Raptors 905 sounds exactly like a team like that, where it's just okay. This is the club name. This is not related to the city. This is just our club name. No Wolves, no Warriors, none of that. Just the club name. And you know what? That's not a bad name. I will say that's actually a fun name.
Our affiliate was the Herd, but it's one of the teams that is on hiatus. We got teams up and coming. We got the Motor City Cruise. We got another team on hiatus, the Wisconsin Herd.
Okay, that's a dumb name. That's a dumb name.
The Wisconsin Herd.
Seriously, just think of the name test right now. Wisconsin Herd.
How about the Oklahoma City Blue?
Ah,
Holy shit, folks. These names are just so beyond
okay,
dumb.
okay. Okay.
The
Oh, okay,
Ottawa
okay.
County.
I just looked at the logo for the Wisconsin Herd. That is actually kind of a kick-ass logo. In relation to the Bucs, that's a kick-ass logo.
Yeah. I was
I just wish you had a
expecting.
better freaking name. Okay,
That's pretty cool.
okay. I want to throw up 3 more names on here. Capital City Go-Go. That is now the new dumbest name. I take back everything I said about the Herd. That's the new dumbest name. That is now the new dumbest name.
Oh
Um,
my
the
goodness.
the the Sioux Falls Skyforce. That actually sounds like a WNBA team name,
That definitely does.
but it's not bad. That's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing. I think there is
Oh,
a
yeah,
team. There's
yeah.
the Chicago. There's the Chicago Sky,
Chicago Sky.
and there a team actually named Force in the WNBA?
Yes.
Which city?
Or not Minnesota. Minnesota's the Lynx. Well, I'll look it up.
I'm already on the page. I'm trying to scroll down the team names.
This is hilarious.
It does. There's no team named Force.
Is there anything closer to that? I mean, there's definitely some crazy names in the WNBA.
I would say the closest would be Storm, Seattle Storm. That'd be the closest one.
They won the championship this year, didn't they? Not that I really care about the WNBA.
Yeah, they did.
No, it was the.
No, they did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Seattle Storm did. That was their 4th title, I believe.
Oh, the G League just got all these dumb names, and this is perfect for Porter Jr. because he makes dumb decisions.
Yes.
Congratulations, this is where you belong.
Congratulations. Enjoy spending the rest of your basketball career in Canton, Ohio.
Oh, that sounds like a curse.
Okay, what's in Canton, Ohio to do? Outside the Hall of Fame, what else is there to do here?
Pennsylvania's right nearby. You could get depressed and jump off one of their beautiful bridges. I'm just kidding.
Wow. Dark.
There's not really much to see and do here in Canton.
Outside of the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
It's boring as hell. It's really, really boring. You can go visit Akron. Akron's right nearby, but Akron's got a really shitty football team.
But they got a decent basketball team.
Yeah, don't talk about it because being in the MAC, we're always underneath their shadow. We're like their old bitch. Football was one thing, but that has come and gone. Folks, this has gone completely off the rails, but in a good way.
Yes. Okay. Any other? I guess if you want to talk about other noteworthy news, Urban Meyer's got a job in the NFL now.
Jesus Christ, the man is back.
How do you feel about that?
It's a gimmick. You're literally 60 miles away from Gainesville. It's a gimmick. It's there to put asses in seats.
All right.
I don't know if he's going to be the right fit for Trevor.
I was going to say, if you got nothing else to say about that, let's talk about our NBA teams for a minute. Let's talk about the Bulls and the Pistons.
What is there talking about? The Pistons are the worst team in the NBA right now. Statistically, we're the worst team.
Well, that was to be expected. I expected the Bulls to be worse, but at 6-8 right now, they're faring better than I thought. But given that this season has the play-in tournament, so if they manage to get to 10th, that's technically being one step closer to the playoffs than they would have been originally.
But is that where you're saying yourself? Is that where you're saying your goal is to just make it in the playoffs?
I would say any team's goal is normally make the playoffs, not win a championship, just make the playoffs, just to prove, unless you're trying to tank, which it sounds like is what your Pistons are doing.
even though we're not trying to admit we're tanking, it definitely feels like the
well,
stage.
those statistics. Well, you
We're
technically are
finally
the worst.
embracing a rebuild, but it just seems like it's too late. In the
Yeah,
system.
yeah.
We've had all this time. We tried to put up with competing in mediocrity, and when you're between what was it, between like 10th and 12th, or between 7th and 10th seeds, you're not good enough to make anywhere in the playoffs, and you're definitely not good enough to have a significant selection in the draft.
All right.
So for all these years, we've been shooting ourselves in the foot. We'll see what happens with this draft, but the lottery is not set in stone like it used to be. You saw the Knicks with Zion. The Knicks outright tanked and they didn't get their man.
They tanked for ping pong balls and failed miserably.
The NBA has ultimately punished all the teams for what Sam Hinkie and the 76ers did, outright purposely tanking, and you cannot do that anymore. So yeah, even if the Pistons suck and get to the worst record, they have an equal chance with, say, the Washington Wizards and
The
another
Minnesota
team above it,
Timberwolves.
Timberwolves. They have an equal shot to get the number 1 overall pick. That is the scary thing. Even with a good record, your number can still be called early.
That's actually one of the
NBA.
things about the NBA I kind of hate, because in the NFL you could take you could definitely take in the NFL and you're guaranteed to get the top guy in the NFL. In the NBA, there's a chance you could get the top guy. There's a chance you could be in the middle of the pack.
The NHL had something similar this past season with the Red Wings. You had a team that made it into the bubble, and the Rangers have a higher pick than the Red Wings. The Red Wings had the worst record, and they didn't get to choose first. They chose 4th. But that was a 1-year anomaly. The NHL is set. You have the worst record, you get the first overall pick. The MLB, you have the worst record, you get the first overall pick. The NFL, you have the worst record, you get the first overall pick. The NBA, no, because one team's GM decided, hey, we'll get good players, and you need to do shit with them. The NBA has chopped off the hand, and now you must suffer. Now Pistons fans must suffer with the possibility of not getting the first overall pick. It is literally a nightmare scenario for me. Literally a nightmare. Your Bulls have something to hope for. The Pistons, we had the fear of not getting the first overall pick. Let that sit in your mind for a second there, Coffee.
It's sitting in my mind. It's buried deep in there. All I can say is that this is the one thing I disagree with the NBA. I can agree with the NBA on a lot of stuff. Not just because I love basketball, because I feel the NBA, at the very least, they try to do the right thing, and they usually have the sense to know what the right thing is. Or what this draft lottery, to me, has always been the bane of the shit stain in the clean underwear. Sorry for that disgusting image, folks. So that's literally what this is. That's literally what the lottery is.
It was worth it when Zion didn't go to New York. That was the one moment where you knew, like, you and me were
that was you and me dancing. We were dancing. We were celebrating. I was drinking whiskey and partying that Zion wasn't gonna go and waste his career in New York. Now he's possibly going to waste his career in New Orleans.
That is if he stays healthy enough. Hey,
that's the problem. Oh, I think we really got off the rails now. This has been Cellar County with Butch and Coffee, and we'll see you next week, and hopefully we'll be sober after Sunday.
Amen with that.
All right, take it easy.
Hopefully.